And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Weighing In podcast, where me and my man, the Punk Josh Thompson, are going to talk about everything going on in MMA, some boxing coming up. We're going to talk about that. A whole lot of discussion about guys like Nate Diaz. Who's Nate Diaz? Oh, he's that guy that is a free agent. Got so much going on.
He's
What's
that
up, my
rich,
man?
rich guy. But before we get
He's
started,
got to be rich if he's not rich now.
Before we get started on anything, it is October 12th, and guess what that day is? Hello, Podcast Dave. Roll them film. Let's go, buddy.
Producer, roll that.
Roll that film, producer. I love this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There he is, my man.
He is the man. Moro Ronaldo. I love this guy.
Playing his music.
Big John, what is up, brother? Happy
Horrendous.
60th birthday. You look younger than me, man. You look younger. You look younger than your co-host Josh as well.
What the
fuck? I said that, but it's just facts.
Bro, you did me
Crushed it,
dirty.
brother. You're on the Mount Rushmore of MMA. You're a freaking legend. 60 is the new 30. All right? So keep doing the damn thing, dude.
He's fucking lying to you.
Keep crushing it. See you out there. I don't know what that means. See you out there. You live in.
Just look at that race car he's in.
Happy birthday, dude.
I'm surprised he can fit in that
John,
Porsche.
What's going on, buddy? 60 years old. You got me by a year. Actually, it's a half a year. I'm 59 and a half now.
He looks
You are
good.
So lucky. I am so lucky, actually,
With those new
because
veneers.
If I was there, I would turn you over and spank you just like I did Tito. And you know what? His corner wouldn't be going crazy saying, he's tapping.
Throwing
So
shade,
glad
throwing
you were reffing
shade.
that fight, I got to tell you.
Love it. I love it.
Big John, the Ace Boom Coon, my man who got me into Bellator. Hey, I want to wish you a happy 60th birthday. My guy, turn up, throw one up for me. You know what I'm saying? Pop bottles for me. Man, happy birthday, Big John. Happy birthday.
He said,
Hi, John.
Rafael Stotts.
Since it's your birthday, I was gonna say something funny about you, tell some funny story, but I'm afraid of you. You're gonna choke me out if I do that. Happy birthday, my friend. Enjoy your day.
Boys.
What up, Big John?
That man has never been afraid of me.
First of all, you got an amazing woman, man. She got me from all the way out there in those mountains while I was doing my hunting trip trying to find an elk to come down and wish you, Big John, a special happy birthday, man.
Happy 60th birthday, Dad. Just want to share a memory I had when I was 15 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever that my dad was allowing me to play a drinking game with him. Unfortunately, that game was bullshit, and it involved cheap tequila and me losing just about every round. And then it involved a dune buggy ride afterwards just to make sure I really felt the effects of the alcohol.
Hey, happy big 6-0 to the
Parenting
biggest
101.
legend in mixed martial arts
This is great.
history, Big John.
Happy birthday, John.
Big John Goldie here.
that's a good
I'm going
one.
to use my big brain.
Awesome.
I was one of the roasters at your
Old school.
50th. You are now 60. That's 10 years. That's a decade.
Wow.
Big brain. Thank you for always having
brain.
my back. Thank you for always being my big brother. And thank you for moving to the broadcast position so that you don't block every single camera with that eclipse of a backside that you happen to possess.
It is
Are you
pretty
ready?
big, John.
Are
It
you
is.
ready? Let's get it on.
John got that big hammer.
Happy birthday.
Oh, shit. Boss, Root.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, John. That's it, my man. 60 years old. I'm 57 years young. You're 60 years old, and that's how all your friends, your older friends, your same age friends, are going to sing to you a happy birthday song.
What's up, Big John?
Oh.
Want to wish you a happy birthday.
The dirty
Mid
jers.
60 look good, brother. Have yourself a day, my man.
John,
Thomas River, baby.
This is great.
happy 60th birthday. And I got to tell you, it's kind of caught me by surprise. I really thought you were much older.
Hey, Big John, I heard you turn 65. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. Hope you make it an incredible 70th birthday. You look really good for being 85 years old. I'm really impressed with everything you've done. Seriously, just want to say thanks for everything you've done for me, especially done for the sport, but then allowed me to tag along with you for a little bit. Hope you have a great birthday. Love to you and Elaine. Take care, guy.
What's up? It's the Italian gangster here. Wanted to wish the fucking OG Big John a happy birthday.
I had to get some F-bombs
MMA
in
would not
there.
be what it is today without you. We're all grateful for you, and I hope you have a great day, my man.
Hi, Joe McCarthy. How are you? I came here to wish best birthday to you. I'm here watch my second fight with Miles Keenan and Invicta, and you are the referee. The best referee in the world.
Let's just say Miss McCarthy reached out to her.
To be able to call him my friend. And I hope he's proud of the work that we do. But I'm really grateful for that. And I hope you have a wonderful birthday.
Hey, Big John. Happy
like you
birthday,
died.
man. I don't want to say it.
I thought he was crying.
Icon in our sport, really innovative. Really made MMA what it is. To be legend and remembered for many, many, many years for your contribution to the sport that we all love.
Big John McCarthy. Happy
it's our listener, Amanda,
birthday.
right there. Our
I might be
listener.
working at a football game, but there's just nowhere I would rather be than working with you and having you tell me gruesome stories at the breakfast table or wherever we are during a fight. Thank you so much for everything you do for me and everybody else. Have a great birthday.
2 feet in the head, baby.
John, I wish all the best on your 60th birthday. Enjoy your day, my friend.
What's going on, Big John? Just want to wish you a happy birthday and hope you enjoy the day. Just live life to the fullest and make the best of it. I'll see you in Chicago.
What's up, Big John? Patrice Pitbull here.
The
I just want to wish you a happy birthday and enjoy your day, my friend.
Happy birthday, Big John. Okay, so one of my favorite memories of you, actually one of my first memories of you, was the first fight that you ever reffed for me. And we're in the back room, in the locker room, you're going over the rules. And after you're done, you're like, do you have any questions? I'm like, yeah. Do you have any daughters? Because I feel like I just got a stern lecture from my dad before going out with friends. So anyway, just wanted to wish you a very, very healthy
She did say that.
Thank you for mentoring me throughout my fight career. Thank you for always being there. And yeah, also thank you for taking a picture with my husband because he's a huge fan.
Happy birthday, Big John.
Back out there trying to find Big Sasquatch and wish Big John a happy birthday.
Big Sasquatch.
Appreciate
Big John
everything
out
you've done
there.
for me throughout my life. I love you. Happy birthday, Dad.
I hope you have an amazing 60th birthday, buddy. We miss you terribly.
Osu, and it comes from two words actually. Oshi, which means push, and Shinobu, which means endure. To push and to endure. That's you behind the walker right now.
You behind the walker. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. That was great, man.
That was awesome.
Jeez.
Well, thank you very much. I got to thank anybody. Josh, thank you. I know my wife, she had to give up stuff for that, so thank you. Dave, thank you.
The hardest part.
The best part is Patricio wished me happy birthday, and there was no fuck you at all in there. I love that.
Fuck you. The hardest part, John, was getting the videos and sending them in the group chat, and then your wife not opening them while she's standing next to you. That was the hardest part. She's like, don't text it to me right now. Don't do this. Don't send me this. Don't call me right now. Don't call me. She kept sending me texts, and I'm like, hey, calm down. And then obviously it was it was great, man. Everyone was really great. I even got a couple that came in right now that were a little late. They're just in different time zones. So I'll have to share those in a separate private one to you or something like that. So
thank you very much for putting that together. That was
your
awesome,
wife did a
man.
great job of organizing all that, and then I was able to reach out to the ones obviously that I know, and they were able to come in. And I'm surprised. We'll talk about that one later. But
we'll talk about that one.
But yeah, we just it was good. It wasn't a lot of work. I was surprised. I was really expecting it to be like me chasing after a lot of athletes and fighters like it is to try to get them on the show. But it wasn't. It was like, hey, give me 10, 15 seconds of a happy birthday. And they loved it. They were all for it. So, good stuff. Good people in this sport. You know that, John. But hey, happy fucking birthday to my brother, man. I never thought my story for you is I never thought in a million years. When we started working together with Bellator that we'd be sitting here doing a podcast, and I've talked about this. And then the fact is that you did my very first fight in the UFC. You did my very first fight I ever fought. And it means a lot to me. It felt like it was destiny. I know it sounds really stupid and cliche, but I got to be honest. I truly, truly never thought that you and I would become so close, become such good friends. And I really do appreciate your friendship. And thank you. Thank you for being you, man. Thank you. Thank you for falling off oak trees. Thank you for breaking ribs. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for always being there, brother. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. I don't think people realize, the work that you put in, not just for the podcast, but the way that you get, with those 6 ribs, with those 6, almost 7 broken ribs, you fucking still drove yourself to do the next show. And I had to go in the cage and do interviews but you still want to be part. You did. You still want to be part of the show. And I admire people like that. They don't let anything like that get in their way. They have a job to do and they go out there and do it. You and I are very punctual. We are very punctual when it comes to this. Like, hey, this is when we need to be there. This is when it has to happen. And we live our lives that way. And I feel very blessed to be a part of your life. You're Miss McCarthy's life because they go hand in hand. And this, I'm blessed that we got the show, man. Happy birthday.
Trust me. In return, 3 times, 4 times, because, man, I love what we do. Podcast Dave, thank you very much. I appreciate you putting some of that together there.
He didn't do shit.
You didn't do shit.
He did it all.
That producer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He did it all.
But well, I want to say, Josh, I love you, brother.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
Same, man. And what about Dave? You love Dave? I know if we.
Of course I do. I do. Of course I do. Dave is the guy that has taught me how to actually handle trolls. I am so much more calm around
Dave. We got to see your face, buddy. I got to see your face
because Dave is the consummate troll. See, look at him. He's even happy that I'm saying it. Okay, and I'm going to bring this up later. I swear to God I am, because he has been the guy that I go, you know what? I see what he's doing, and I love it. I really do love it. And the fact that he's continuing on, and then I'll make him think that I'm really pissed at him. And there's times that he actually gets to that point. He's like, are you serious or are you kidding on this one? The best.
Because you just never tell with an old grumpy man, You're just like,
exactly.
Maybe
see, old and grumpy, it's all right.
What you guys don't get, because you guys don't see the texts that Dave sends me. John, I'm seeing on the group text, John's getting after Dave. You can tell he's getting a little heated. And Dave will send me like a little cringing emoji, like that, and separately, or just one that goes like, it's like, oh my God, he's in shock. Like, what do I do now that he's mad at me?
Oh, he's mad. And then he gets on the show and he goes, are you talking to me? Of course I am. Why? Right? I was just seeing how far I could go with it too.
The one thing I can say though is that
I've also turned John into the intro. That's what I've done.
Podcast Dave has really taught Big John patience. Because then when we first started this, man, he wanted to strangle you at least 100 times. I had to talk Big John off of the cliff at least 99 times.
Yeah,
and then,
he's 99.
And then John finally got over it and realized that this is just who Podcast Dave is. But
he gets it done.
From the bottom of our hearts at the Weigh In Podcast, Big John, we love you and happy birthday. Happy 60th birthday, my man.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Let's get on with this crap because we got fights to talk about and other things to do. Man, all right. The UFC Fight Night 212. You're looking at this as the main event, and I'm just thinking, there's a lot of people out there that may not know one, of these fighters. Maybe they don't know either one, but Alexa Grasso is a dynamite fighter. I know that you kind of think she's okay, and I'm not talking about her fighting ability.
I think everything. Okay. I think she's very talented, man. She's extremely talented.
She is talented. She's stand-up wise. She's always been talented.
Well, this show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. We got some fights coming up this week in the UFC Fight Night 212. Grasso versus Araujo. Like, it's going to be a good... How do you say her last name? Araujo. Okay, bad fights. I love me some Alexa Grasso. She can get down, but so can Araujo. So we're going to see it. Vivian. I'm going to call her Vivian. Vivian better. It's easier for me, so I don't butcher that name. But hey,
Viviane
go
Araujo.
to mybookie.ag. Use our promo code weighing in. You guys, I'm telling you guys right now, it's the easiest gambling site you guys can use. You guys go there, your first initial buy-in, we give you some extra cash by using our promo code weighing in. It's pretty simple. You guys do that, and it's an online site that all you have to do is bet your winnings one time. Once you bet your winnings one time, you can pull whatever you still have left if you've got some more winnings. If you didn't mess up on your bets, you can pull those winnings out and go ahead and save them for later to bet on another time. But you can only do that if you use our promo code weighing in. So go to mybookie.ag, use our promo code weighing in.
but it's always been the ground has been her problem, you know, and you look at her record and it's the people that could take her to the ground and keep her on the ground. Those were the ones that, you know, have caused her problems, and she's had to grow from it, but she's gotten better in those areas. You can see what she's doing to improve herself. So this fight against Viviana Araújo, this is a great fight because Viviana she's got everything that it takes to be great at this sport. Her stand-up is clean, crisp. She doesn't mind getting into the exchanges. I don't know if that's a great idea with Alexa. She's got a very good ground game. The real question is, which lady is going to step up and be the one pushing the other one back? Because that's going to be the difference maker in this fight. Who's the one going forward?
I think Alexa Grasso is going to take the center of the cage and just hope that she can move her head offline and counter. I don't think she has the speed to stick up with Vivian when it comes to the speed on the feet. Now, Vivian, I think, can also mix it up. Now, Alexa Grasso's gotten also a lot better at her takedown defense. She's gotten better against the fence. She's gotten good with her submissions. She was always okay in the submission attacks, but she was never very good at getting up off of her back. She'd attack the submission, and when she didn't get it, she was stuck there still. So that whole, submit, sweep, get up, or sweep, submit, get up, she didn't have that and didn't learn that or hasn't had that. She's been getting better at getting back to her feet. She's also getting better at stuffing the takedowns. What I like with her, what I've always liked with her, is that when she came into the sport, she was 20 years old? She was young.
Super young.
Yeah, she was super young, and she had very tight defensive striking, but very good offense as well with it. She never put herself out of the comfort position, but you could also tell that she was still young. Like, you could tell that a lot of the females that she was fighting, they were more mature in terms of physical strength.
They were physically,
yes.
They were older physically. They were stronger women as far as she just had not reached that point.
Yeah, and we've seen this thing. The same thing. Like I'd say the same thing about Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper, he's going to break into his own. I think we saw his last fight. He looked like he started filling out a little bit more, and he wasn't.
Yep, and you could see physically he looked better.
Exactly. So that just comes with time. You know, with age, you start to build into, we call it man strength, that kind of 27, 28 into the 30s. You start developing that man strength. Now with the females, I just feel like they start really figuring out how to train their body and to work around their female system, to make sure that they can still develop their body to strength wise, to max strength wise during their camp, to perform at peak abilities during certain parts of their camp, and really start understanding that lifting weights or doing weight training or anything like that doesn't have a bad effect on their body in terms of their performance.
Oh God, no.
A lot of athletes that I still know think that it does. Like, I shouldn't lift weights. I should just do light weights.
I'll get bulky. That's the one I love. If I lift weights, I'm going to get all bulky. It's like, no, you're not.
No.
What you're doing is you're doing specific weight movements to help when it comes to certain areas of the fight. Areas where strength does matter. Technique is always the king. But strength will help you get through bad times when, if you don't have it, you're not going to make it through. So it's a good thing to have, and it's not going to anybody that's doing MMA, I don't care how much weight you lift, you're not going to get bulky.
Yeah.
You're burning too many calories doing other things, and the weightlifting just won't be a factor in that area. But it's good as you see people fill out, and you do. It's like, think about back when you were wrestling in college. First day that you went onto that mat and you were 18 years old, okay, and you go against a 22-year-old, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, they got man strength compared, and it's those 4 years make a huge difference.
Huge. You don't realize, because when you're in high school wrestling, right? Sure, you're lifting, but you're not.
No, because you're crushing people.
Yeah, that's true as well. But you're also not exerting yourself in terms of the weightlifting program. You're more worried about keeping your weight down. You're not working with the top level coaches in your high school. Your local high school doesn't normally have them, unless you're blessed to go to a great high school that is just a powerhouse in wrestling. and those coaches don't generally last long. They end up moving to some sort of college eventually.
Few and far between.
And so, my college coach was John Owens in North Idaho College when I wrestled there, and he was fucking fantastic, man. He was fantastic. Loved him to death. He just was someone that he put us through the rigorous programs. He was on top of everything, and he understood what it took to get his athletes to the next level. And so the lifting was number one. I had never really lifted weights all through high school. I never had laid down on a bench and bench press. And I did it throughout that program with him. And sure, I noticed myself get stronger. I noticed myself get bigger a little bit, but he was fantastic. So, yeah, overall, man, I mean, it's about just making sure that when you are a younger athlete, doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, getting into that weight room a little bit, just a little bit extra. You don't have to lift super heavy. Just get in there and get a little extra work in, 30, 40, 50 minutes, 30, 40 minutes in a lift is perfect amount of time. You can get it done in that amount of time if you're doing it right.
Absolutely.
So
this actually should be a very good fight. They're well matched up. They both complement each other as far as where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are. My real question in this is Alexa Grasso going to actually go for takedowns? Because she has recently. Yeah. So we're going to see, does she try that with Viviane? I don't know if she's going to, but I think she does need to. She needs to put her in that position where she has to at least respect the fact that she'll attempt it.
I think that Viviane's going to be the more aggressive fighter. She's going to come forward. She's going to really try to get the takedowns, try to open up the stand-up. She's going to stick the jab in the face. She's going to try to get this fight to the ground, She's going to mix it up, but I think she does try to get this fight to the ground and control that top position. That's the way I think this fight's going to play out. Who's next?
Co-main event, Cub Swanson, our man Cub, against Jonathan Martinez. How do you see that going?
That's going to be a tough fight. That's going to be a tough fight.
That is a tough fight.
Jonathan Martinez.
That is not an easy fight for Cub.
He's one of those guys.
He's a stud.
He doesn't look like he does. It doesn't look like he's got a lot of power. Doesn't look like he's on point. It's very accurate. And he fights so composed, John. He's one of those guys that it seems like he's just out there flowing with whatever goes on in the cage. I couldn't even get those words out. They were, but he flows with whatever goes on in that cage. He will stuff takedowns. He will get takedowns, but he will stand, he will trade, and he will make you miss offline and then counter you. He lands big shots. He does have power. He's very accurate with his strikes. He's a patient fighter for being as young as he is. I believe, can you pull him up? I think he's only 24, 26? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he's young. I believe he's young. 28. Sorry,
28.
I was way off.
Yeah.
I was way off. But he has that style of which he's just very composed, almost like sniper-like. And he's a very talented fighter. Cub's got his hands full.
He is very talented. And he's got, to me, he doesn't look that fast. But it's that whole, when you talk about shooting, we talk about smooth as fast. He's smooth.
Yeah.
And that leads to him being fast. Yep. He gets to where he wants. He gets his shots on target, exactly what you're saying. He's very accurate with them. He doesn't waste a lot of movement. He's got good movement, but he doesn't waste it a lot. He doesn't jerk around. He is looking for feints that are going to set you up to give him the opportunity to put shots on you. So this is not, a lot of people are going to look and say, oh, Cub Swanson, they're going to try to give Cub they're not giving Cub any goddamn fucking.
There are no gimme fights.
No gimmies on this one. This is a tough fight. The fight before that, I think, is a great fight. Askarov against Brandon Royval. This is a dynamite flyweight matchup. Askar is absolutely great with his wrestling. He's got good stand-up. But Royval is dangerous off the ground. And so, Askarov's got to be careful. Look, he's good and he understands the submission game. And I do think that he has the advantage. If you're looking who's going to be the favorite in it, it's going to be Askarov. But Brandon Royval can pull off stuff. He's very well balanced. He's got good stand-up. He's got a great ground game. He's dangerous. Yeah. And so this is another one. You look great.
I look at Askarov as being a little bit too much. And look, Royval has been fantastic leading up to certain stuff, up to certain talent. But then he's had a run of bad luck. Can you click on Royval? I think he won his last fight, but I think he lost one, or he was off and on for a fight or two in between there, right? Because he hurt his elbow.
He had a couple losses. He had the Brandon Moreno and then Pantoja.
Yeah, one of them was he hurt his elbow. Look, remember he hurt his shoulder in one of them or something?
That was Royval.
Oh, was that Royval?
I'm sorry, that was against Brandon Moreno.
Oh, Brandon Moreno. So he hurt his shoulder. Something happened in that fight, and they're going to say it was Tito with the punches, but I don't think he could. It was something happened to his shoulder or his elbow, I believe. It's been a while back.
Shoulder.
And but then that fight, and then he lost to Pantoja after that. Then he came back and had a couple good performances against Matt Schnell and then Monterio. But he's a talented fighter. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of, I believe, he's got to get back on track, which he's on track now. But this is a tough fight for him. Askarov is no easy task for anybody. Askarov's 14-1, I believe. You know, he's very well rounded. He will be in there grinding him out, trying to get right into his face, try to get a takedown or two, but landing the big strikes. He will throw big strikes to get in and close the distance. This is gonna be a fun fight. I believe it's gonna be a really good fight.
I think it's a fantastic. This is really, you got the Figueiredo versus Moreno coming up, number 4. People are going to look at it and say, you know, whatever they want. I think it needs to happen. It's a good fight. I mean, it's a great fight, but it's a fight that needs to happen because they're even now. Mm-hmm. You got a tie, you got a win and a win. Let's go with the last one. See what happens. And there seems to be Pantoja is the guy sitting there kind of in. He's in flux. Mm-hmm. He's right in that area where he deserves the title shot. He's just not in that, you know, area because of what's gone on with the whole trilogy already by Moreno and Figueiredo. But you're taking a look at this one. This could be where the winner, you know, take this winner. They could even get a shot at the title with whoever wins it, or put Pantoja in there, and you've got your next challenger.
I guess we'll see. We'll see. Jordan Wright versus Dusko.
Both guys fun to watch. Not, you know, the fight, honestly, is important to both of them. It has no bearing on, you know, who's going to move up in rankings or anything right now. Both of them have had some losses. They think, you know, again, this is where the UFC tends to take guys that are coming off of losses, put them together where they won't get someone back on the right track. And so that's what you're going to get in the middleweight division here. It's an enjoyable fight.
What other fights on this card, John? Because, like, honestly, like, this is one of those cards, they've stacked it kind of towards the top with Cub and Martinez, and you've got Askarov and Royval, and then, of course, the main event is going to be a scrap back and forth. And I think this Jordan Wright and Dusko fight is a good fight, but it's like no one really knows them. There's going to be, but I think it's going to end up being a good fight. Is there any other fights on here that stand out to you?
There's one fight that stands out to me, and there's a fight that, I mean, I love one of the guys in it, but his opponent is too good at right now. Talking about, you know, Rafael Ankalaev, him against Victor Henry. Victor Henry is good. Yeah. Victor Henry is sharp. This dude is a freaking beast when it comes to this, how clean his technique is. And to be honest, you know, Rafael, he's on the downhill side of his career right now. He has slowed down. It's made a difference in, you know, what's going on. And I just think that's going to be a difficult fight. Not that, you know, if he gets it to the ground, he's got, you know, a world of talent down there and he can definitely get the win, but he's got to get the fight to the ground.
Yeah, Rafael Assunção, he's on the latter end of his career, you know, and a lot of the guys they're going to match him up against right now are going to be guys that they're going to potentially try to build. So if he gets any big wins over Henry, then it should be, I mean, it puts him back into like talking about, hey, let's work into the top 10, but then where do you really want to go after that? That's going to be another. You want to keep fighting those guys?
It's a tough one. Really. But the fight that I think is actually a really intriguing fight is Nick Maximov coming out of the Diaz camp. He's kind of got the same attitude against Jacob Malkoun, who is a fantastic wrestler himself. You know, he lost his last fight, but man, the dude is a stud, man. And when he gets in the top position, he does not let off the gas. He does damage. So I think that's going to be another good fight.
Hey, any of the ones that come from the Diaz camp, man, you should expect him to use that Stockton slap. Yeah, and just start talking trash. So I'm looking forward to it all. That's going to
look at the one down. Look at the first fight. Look at the very first fight. What do you see in there?
I see Pete Rodriguez versus Mike Jackson.
Mike Jackson's getting another fight in the UFC.
After being told he would
got
never
beat by
again.
Mickey Gall. What's that?
Wasn't he the guy that they said he would never fight in the UFC again?
Yes, that's exactly why I said, look who's back and fighting for the UFC. Mike Jackson.
What happened? What did he do? Sorry, refresh my memory. CTE.
Go.
Dave.
Remember he fought CM Punk and because he toyed with him.
Marijuana.
Dana White said that it was ridiculous that he toyed with him instead of putting him away. And so he didn't fight again. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fight got put to a no contest though.
Oh, really? Because of marijuana?
Right.
Yeah, marijuana. I think it was something.
And now they're allowing it. So stupid. Do you go back and change all those? You go back and change
It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid. All right,
But Pete Rodriguez, tough dude.
Is he?
He's actually he's a tough dude. You know, he came into the UFC last second in his first fight, and he ran into someone that was too good for him at the time. But this fight, this is a good matchup for him. I think Pete Rodriguez is going to do very well.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our this is Fight Night, right? Fight Night talk.
Vegas 62.
212.
Well, it's UFC Vegas
212.
62. They call it. They don't actually call it the
62.
Fight Night
Okay,
212.
All righty, all right.
Oh, because it's from the Apex. You're right.
Okay. What else we got there, podcast Dave?
All right, we have a ton of boxing fights this Saturday.
Yeah, we do.
Do you guys have a particular one that you'd prefer to discuss first? We
hello.
have,
First off, the Devin Haney versus George Kambosas Jr. George Kambosas is the guy that beat Teofimo Lopez. And look at, this guy, I love his attitude. I love the way he fights. I love the way he comes out. The problem with this fight
Devin Haney
he's
is
fighting
fucking
Devin Haney.
good. He is fucking
Okay, there you go.
good.
Dude, and you look and you go, oh man, everything about Kambosas. This is a rematch because Devin Haney beat him in the first one
handily.
and took the title from him. Yeah,
him
he
handily.
beat him handily. He beat him handily.
Yeah.
And look at Devin right now. Devin Haney in that weight, dude. He's so hard to frickin' hit, and he counters so well. Maybe Kambosas has figured something out. Kambosas is the guy. He's more of the brawler. He gets inside. He bangs away. Heavy body shots. It's still going to be very difficult for him to touch Devin Haney with a solid shot.
I look at it this way, John.
I'll be watching it.
I am going to watch
Yeah.
it, but I look at it this way. Give me the stat. What's the stat? Isn't it like 80-20? The person who won the first fight is going to 80% win the second fight.
Oh, yeah.
It's something ridiculous like that. It might even be more than 80%.
Especially when they're younger, then it's even more.
And then on top of that, right? He kind of ran away with the first fight. It was kind of one-sided. I don't know if
And it was down in Australia. It is hometown.
Yeah.
So
next fight. Would you like this fight, Clarissa Shields? Go ahead.
I do like this fight because look, Clarissa Shields, two-time Olympic gold medalist. She's fantastic. Savannah Marshall is someone that beat her as an amateur, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Savannah Marshall is 12-0, Josh. Clarissa Shields is 12-0 in the boxing realm. And you look and you go, this is as good a matchup as far as that we've seen in women's boxing besides Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. This is a great matchup because Savannah Marshall has knocked out, I'm not exactly, to say, in those 12 fights, I would say her last 6 fights have ended with a knockout or a TKO.
Producer, pull that up.
That is incredibly unusual.
Producer, pull that up.
For
Savannah Marshall knockouts.
Women's boxing.
Her record. Pull up her record.
Just take a look at her record.
But she got her hands full of Clarissa Shields now. Has Clarissa Shields time?
Dude, absolutely.
But John, Clarissa Shields time away from boxing to fight MMA. Is that enough to slow her down to where Savannah has a better opportunity to finish her in boxing? Or
it is the question.
Or beat her.
You would have to go to probably BoxRec would have Savannah Marshall's record. It would say.
Oh, I thought you were asking for the specific knockout. Like
No. I want to see her
no.
record.
He's asking.
How many knockouts does she have in her last 12 fights in her pro career?
For knockouts, she has 12.
Yeah, so she has all 12 knockouts.
Is it all 12?
No.
I thought she had a
zero. It says 0 KOs.
10. See right there it says 12 KOs. Sorry, I don't use boxing record ton.
KOs 83.33%.
So 10. She has 10 of them. Right below it. So there's 12 in the win, and then right below it says 10 KOs.
So if you go down, pull that thing up. Go down, scroll down. There you go. It'll start to show you what you have. Win by TKO, KO, TKO, 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 KO, KO. It says it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last 7 fights, knockouts.
Jeez.
That's something you don't see in women's boxing. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that she's going to beat Clarissa. I love Clarissa. Clarissa is a stud when it comes to boxing, but it is exactly what you're saying. Clarissa has been off doing MMA for a while. She's going back into the boxing realm. I always say, man, you're trying to do the two sports. They are different. And if you're doing both, it will take away from both. Yeah. You're not going to be as sharp in either. Yep. So
well put,
this
John.
could be one of those ones.
Well put. It's true. If you can't, there's like in MMA, you have to. It's so hard because you have to focus on so many different sports. If you think you're going to try and do kickboxing with MMA, like you're going to do kickboxing and glory, and then turn around and come back and do MMA, it's going to be too hard. You have to work on your wrestling. You got to work on your submission defense. All those things. It's a use it. If you don't use it, you lose it kind of situation, like my math skills. So like you have to make sure that you're constantly using your math skills. Otherwise, I mean your grappling skills. If you're not doing that, then you lose them. So, I'm not familiar with the next group of fights, but then the Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. Deontay Wilder, he's got power. We understand that, but there was so many.
He's got a right hand from hell.
I don't know anything about Robert Helenius. But there's been a lot of talk that Anthony Joshua is considering fighting Wilder over Tyson Fury.
I'm being honest. I don't care. He can. No, I don't mean it. I don't mean it in that way that I don't care. I want to see it, but let's just be flat out honest right now. Joshua doesn't take the greatest shot, and it would only take a one shot from Deontay with that right hand to start to put Anthony Joshua in a position where everything's going downhill. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Tyson Fury, I think you're going to make more money than you are against Deontay Wilder. Go with the Tyson Fury fight. But if you go with Deontay, go ahead. I would take Deontay Wilder in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Deontay's lost to one guy. Who is it?
God, the best boxer right now. The heavyweight king. Let's just call it what it is.
There you go.
He's the heavyweight king. He's
also the gypsy king, but he's the heavyweight.
I don't see anybody right now in the heavyweight division that's going to touch him. I don't see it.
I don't either.
Everyone keeps saying Usyk. Yep. I'm like, Usyk's too small for him. Usyk's good. He's got speed, but
Usyk is great.
Yeah, he's a fantastic boxer.
Just he's not big. He's not big enough. Tyson will bully him around, and Tyson's too good of a boxer. Tyson's got he's got great footwork. And, I've heard people comparing, well, look at what Anthony Joshua doesn't have great footwork. Tyson Fury is a boxer. He can box. He can put his hands down to the side. He moves his head well. Look at the guy. You got to give the guy the credit that he deserves. He's a hell of a goddamn heavyweight boxer.
Absolutely.
He's not a slugger. He's not a knockout guy, even though he can knock you out. He is a boxer.
Damn right he can knock you out. Look how fucking big he is. Fucking, if his fucking forearm fell on me, he'd kill me. Jesus. All right, next, Dave. What else you got for us, bud?
All right, well, now that we've talked some boxing fights are coming up, let's talk some announced. Oh, actually, sorry. I have one that's a little bit more important than that. I thought it was all fights because we have a stack of fights that we have to talk about that were just announced. So,
all right.
But before we get to that, we have the biggest lightweight title fight, and at least the last few years.
Okay, I was gonna say this is the biggest one.
At least
ever. No,
probably since Khabib was in
Khabib and
division,
Conor,
right?
Khabib and Conor was the biggest. It was actually the biggest pay per view ever. So let's just
well, come on. It was Khabib and Conor, but then it was Khabib and Justin Gaethje. That was bigger. No, it wasn't. But but they were saying it was. Tell me they weren't saying it was.
I don't know who saying they was, but whoever they was wrong because
there you go.
Khabib and Conor has been that's a next level that no one else is going to touch for a long time. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be a while before that. What 2.5 million views or 2 million? That's not going to be broke for a long time.
Pay-per-view,
especially the way the pay-per-view is going right now.
Not views.
Yeah, sorry, buys. My bad.
So we have that fight coming up later this month, and
which is Islam and Oliveira.
Islam and Oliveira, yes. Let's qualify it
next week.
And then Volk came out and said he's basically the fill-in for that main event if something should happen. And then Beneil Dariush comes out and says, "Wait, I thought I was told I'm the fill-in." So now we have this conflict. So who do you think's the real fill-in? Who do you want to be the real fill-in? And what happens? Do we even need a fill-in? Do you think this is going to fall off? Is everybody thinking?
It's real simple. Who has been booked on a flight to Abu Dhabi? There's your fill-in. Let's just be honest. Because if they haven't contacted you about a flight, I guarantee you ain't the fill-in.
I think they're both already there. That's one. And then two is because I saw Dariush doing an interview. It looked like he was there, with people that I know that are there already. Volk, I don't know I mean, he said he's going to be there, so I don't know what that meant, if he booked his own flight or if they booked his flight for him. But that being said, I really, to be honest, I could see the UFC doing both and saying, hey, you potentially could be a fill-in if someone falls off. But I also look at it as you can be a fill-in if this person falls off. And you're a fill-in if this person falls off. It makes sense. Volkanovski, I think.
How does that make sense?
Because I believe if if Islam falls off, you slide Volkanovski in there because Oliveira used to be the former champ. And now you want to make sure that you're having Volkanovski fight who used to be the champ, he defended his title two and a half times. Whatever. He should have been able to defend it 3 times. But you have Volkanovski versus Oliveira. And if Oliveira falls off, you slide Dariush in there because Dariush is ranked high. And why risk Volk right now for that until you have yourself a real champion?
Good point.
I would rather see Volk fight the real champion, not. And right now, everyone says, the champ has a name, Charles Oliveira. No matter what I say, man, the guy to me is the champ. Even though it's a vacant title, he's the fucking champ. What they did him dirty.
Yep.
He should have made the weight. I get it, but let's be real. These scales are not always the most accurate, and you should have been able to fight for the title. But I just look at it in that way. I could see them saying, hey, if Oliveira falls off, let's have Dariush and Islam. They were already supposed to fight. Dana White likes that fight. He's brought it up publicly and said he likes that fight. And you really want Volkanovski to fight someone who is the established champion so he can beat that established person and say, hey, I am the lightweight champ if that happens. And I think everyone believes that Oliveira is currently the champ. The champ has a name and it's Oliveira. And Islam's going in there fighting who many people believe is the champ. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, maybe I could be I'm just blowing sunshine up everyone's ass, to be honest. But I mean, I could see the UFC playing that card. Like, hey, this is what we want to do with it. And it would be smart on their part if they did, Just my opinion. Yeah. I like both of them. I like both fighters, so I don't give a shit who fights who. I mean, all 4 of those guys, take my fucking money. That's the way I look at it. Take my money. All right? They're all extremely great. Just great fighters.
What we'll do is we're going to find out if you're right, because if they both weigh in, it's telling you. Yeah, they kind of had something
interesting
where they were not going to put Volkanovski against Islam, only against Oliveira. So makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, to me, it would.
Dude, you know what? Here, my hat is off to
fucking
you.
Big. I wish my name was Brad.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
I wish my name was Brad. That fucking Brad guy. I'm going to catch him one of these days.
One of these days.
What else you got for us?
All right. Now we are getting into fights. So we had the announced fight of Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, and it's booked for the UFC 282 card.
John, the wrestling of Ankalaev, if he uses it, will be the game changer. If he uses it. I think the boxing, the Polish power, all that stuff is still alive and well, still grinding and still out there to be able to put people away. But Ankalaev is going to be the faster fighter on the feet. He's going to be reaching in from outside. And if Blachowicz extends himself too much to counter, it would be smart of Ankalaev to get the easy takedown, grind on him, wear him down.
Easy takedown.
No, what I'm saying, sorry. It won't be an easy takedown. I'm saying that he should not fight. He should not wrestle him to the point of making himself tired. Because Blachowicz has made a career out of making guys tired in takedowns and then knocking you out.
Yep, and then knocking him out.
He's got to get Blachowicz to extend himself and reach on the counter. If he can do that, then his wrestling should leave Blachowicz stretched out long enough to where he can get in deep enough on the takedown and try to get that easy takedown. If it's not an easy takedown, abandon ship. Get out of there. Just circle out, throw some knees, elbows, whatever it is. Get out of there. Come back in, throw some more combinations, and get back down on the legs. I believe he's going to fight some more. I think he understands. The win over Blachowicz, I think, puts him right next in lineup for a title.
Oh, there's no doubt. If Ankalaev gets a win over Blachowicz, he is the guy that's sitting there as the challenger. But he does not wrestle a lot.
Nope.
He likes to be in the stand-up. I'm not saying he can't. I said he doesn't like to. He likes to be in the stand-up. And I think that could be his undoing when it comes to fighting Blachowicz, in that Blachowicz will stand there and bang with you. How many people have you seen hurt Blachowicz on the feet? Yeah, it's happened. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but the dude can take a shot.
Yeah.
and he can take, if you don't put one right on the button, he's gonna weather the storm through it and come back, and he slings heavy leather back. And I've seen Ankalaev hurt also. So both guys can hurt the other in the stand-up. I do think that wrestling-wise, I'm going to go with Ankalaev. I'll give the jiu-jitsu part. I think Blachowicz, he's got a good ground game when he uses it. He just doesn't like to. He likes to be in the stand-up also. So I'm looking at both these guys. I think it's going to be a stand-up war.
I think whoever handles Ankalaev as a manager and a coach, if you're not fucking wrestling, you need to be fucking fired. Now, I think he has a chance on the feet. I do think he has a chance on the feet.
Sure he
but
does.
I think he's got a fucking almost 78% chance of beating him on the ground. That's what I think. And I don't understand fighters that would not take that opportunity and be like, hey, let me just make this easy. Make sure I get my title shot, and get to the...
If he takes him down and ground and pounds and uses... that great base that he has, and just slowly diminish him, make him less and less each round that goes by. That's your way to get a win.
Dave, how old is Ankalaev? He's got to be what, 31? I mean, he looks like he's about 50, but fuck.
30 years old.
Yeah, 30 years old. Yeah. He's like in his prime. And you've got, Blachowicz,
Blachowicz is 38.
38, 39.
Almost 39.
Blachowicz is what?
Is he that old? Are you sure?
I think he's 39. Yeah.
Yes,
39.
he's that old. 39.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once he turned February. So he'll be here 40 here pretty soon. So, I mean, I tip my hat for these guys. For Jan, just for fucking being so competitive at an age like that. 39. Shit, I couldn't wait to get out of the cage at 39 years old.
What about a guy named Glover?
Right? Guy's fucking winning championships at what? 42.
42.
Jesus, man.
Fucking crazy.
My fucking Randy Couture, that guy. What, 40? When did he win his last
43.
title? 43?
43.
Fuck. Ugh. I couldn't imagine getting hit like that hard. And he still fought until he was 47, right? Randy?
Yeah. 48.
Ugh. That's why but then again, I saw the happy birthday video. He's got those nice veneers. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, that was courtesy of Leota.
Yeah, Leota Machida. Son of a bitch. That son of a gun. Got him. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right.
Producer, roll up some news.
Jeez,
I love it.
All right, we have our next fight here, and it's Tuivasa, and he's going to fight Sergey Pavlovich. Pavlovich. Sorry, I cannot. I've been
Pavlovich.
0 for 2 in saying that name tonight.
Pavlovich.
Yeah, 0 for 2.
That's all right. You call him whatever you want. Now, Sergey Pavlovich. I almost screwed it up.
That was great.
Look, he's a good boxer. He has got very clean and technical striking, and we know that Ty does not have clean and technical striking. He's got brawling ability. But look at Ty's got that ability to cause guys that are clean technicians, and he kind of did it in several moments with Cyril Gane. He put Cyril Gane on his butt.
Yep.
He could do the same thing with Pavlovich. It's just a matter of normally when you're putting the brawler against the guy who is technically really sound and they close to the same weight, not a big, and let's be honest, both guys are going to tip the scales right at 265, 266. Usually it goes in favor of the guy that's got better technique. And I just look at this one, and it's going to be a tough one for Tuivasa to get a win in, but he can do it because he's got power in his hands and he'll take a shot. And I love to watch the guy, but this is not an easy fight. This is a tough
So
one.
I look at it a couple different ways. When is this fight, Dave? Does it say?
They said let's see. It says December 3rd here.
So that scares me a little bit that it's a little soon. He took some big shots in that fight with Cyril Gane, and then, the finish. It's a little too soon. I would have liked to have seen him come back probably like February, end of February, maybe somewhere in there. Give your brain some time to heal. Give your body some time to heal. Cut loose a little bit. Enjoy your family time. These are all things that are extremely important, especially after getting knocked out or concussed. I mean, that he had to have been concussed. He took some big shots in that fight. Yeah. And so as much as I love watching, that's the only thing that scares me about him. Now, I agree with you on the things. Normally it's the boxer, has the tighter boxing that wins this fight. But Tai Tuivasa, though, is not a normal guy who, like you say, he's a brawler, but he does things that are not normal. He'll throw the right hand and he'll come back with a backhand. Like those type of things, traditional boxers, they're not used to. Trevor Prangley used to do that shit all the time against really good boxers that came into the AKA, you know, and he would backhand them and they'd be like, what the hell? They're like, oh, that's not, you can't. And he's like, no, I can do that. This is MMA. They're like, I get it. Okay, whatever. So those type of things are that get the traditional boxer gets caught up in. They think it's going to be a stylistically like a Muay Thai fight or a straight up boxing match. That ain't going to happen with Tai Tuivasa. He's going to make it dirty. He's going to grab the back of the head, dirty box you. He's going to get you in close with the elbows. He's going to make it a grimy fight. We've seen this before, John, in the past.
Try.
Yeah, he's going to try. But we've seen this before in the past where traditional like Pahea and Izzy, you'll have a hard time with guys that are just really aggressive and grimy and dirty type fighters that just come in and just dirty box you like that Brandon Couture style. He made his career off of that. Tai Tuivasa has have a very similar style. He does kind of fight like that where he gets in there in the clinch, body shots and head hunts, hooks the head, hits you with the uppercuts. All of those things are very effective when dealing with someone who's a very traditional style boxer and has got good boxing. And that's why a lot of these guys have a hard time in bare knuckle.
But he also does wing big overhand rights from the outside.
Yeah.
And when you are doing that against a guy who is technically good, you're going to do it one time and he sees the setup, and the next time, you're going to make you pay.
An uppercut.
It's going to be bad.
Yep.
So
got to see if the uppercut gets there before the overhand right does.
It will every time. It's shorter.
I wonder though. What I wonder is if because Ty's pretty fast for the size of this guy. He's a fucking mountain of a man. He's got some speed behind him. You know, and then I also know that Sergey is not going to be someone who uses the footwork as well as Cyril Gahn. Cyril Gahn's moving, lateral movement, keeping.
No, he does not move like
He's going to stand his ground and try and get in there and box you or whatever. So I mean, Ty, like you said, Ty's got a chance.
But Cyril doesn't try to hit you with big shots.
He doesn't. He's a big guy,
but Sergey does.
Yeah, that's true.
Sergey does.
We're going to find out. I think it's a little bit too early for him to come back. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah. All right, next one.
All right, we also have Alexander Gustafsson returning against OSP, and that's going to be on the same card as Blachowicz and Ankalaev.
Wow.
Again, the UFC taking two guys that have had some losses, putting them together. OSP going against Alexander Gustafsson. Look, if you're going to put, and I love the fact that he's walking through. Where's he at right there, Josh?
The Forum.
He's at the Forum. I can see it.
He is at the Forum in Inglewood, California.
Yes, sir. But you look at this, it makes sense. You know, you got to get one guy either back, and I think they're looking at Gus and saying, well, either Gus or OSP. They've both been good for us. I think this is a good fight. I actually think it's a really good fight for Gus. OSP has slowed down a lot, and he's taken that speed difference now has made the difference between him getting wins and not.
Do you look at it like they're going to put him and OSP in there? This is going to be at heavyweight, I'm assuming, and then they're going to say, hey, if the winner, if not the winner, but if somebody in the main event, which I'm assuming is going to be Sergey and Ty, that if one of those guys falls off, they push one of these guys in there.
I don't think this is going to be at heavyweight. I think it's going to be at light heavyweight.
All right. Gus came back at heavyweight, didn't he? I thought he did.
He did, but then he went back to light heavyweight. His last fight was at light heavyweight.
It does say it's a 205.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then.
And it says his heavyweight fight was one off.
Okay. Because I remember OSP fought at heavyweight as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Okay, so
But he went back to light heavyweight.
God, I thought they both just stayed up at heavyweight. So. All right, next.
Yep.
All right.
Producer.
Another fight. Johnny Walker and Paul Craig.
Oh, look at another fight. Look at Podcast Dave. Podcast Dave, do you have a
little biasness there?
Like a little bias in this fight at all?
Well, not really, because Johnny Walker's the name of a Scotch, and then Paul Craig is actually Scottish. So I could take either one.
Nice call there, Dave.
Wow.
Look, it's funny. I spoke with Johnny Walker recently, and his head's in the right place. The one thing that we talked about, simply put, you can't fight to make your promoter happy. You got to fight to protect yourself. And a lot of people want to be exciting, and they want to be doing those things that put people away real fast, but you leave yourself open. He realizes that now. He's not going to try to do anything that is putting himself in that position to be taken advantage of. He's got the right mindset now. He's got a good team behind him. He obviously needs to stay off of the ground with Paul Craig. Paul Craig has proven that, look, he's a specific type of fighter. He's a guy that's in the stand-up, he's not that dangerous. Put him on the ground, he is a dangerous guy from his back, from the top position, doesn't matter. If the fight hits the ground, he's got the ability to end it. Johnny Walker knows exactly what he's going in there with. He's got length, he's got strength, he's got everything going with it for him in this, as far as he's got the skill set to beat Paul Craig, but Paul Craig always seems to come up with a way to get the fight to the ground and do some magic. So this is a great matchup. I think this is going to be a fun fight to watch.
If Paul Craig, I think, can survive the first round, and because the way he pulls guard, he drops on the legs. Sometimes he'll just drop to his butt. All of those things. If Paul Craig can survive that first round and the onslaught of big shots from the top position of Johnny Walker, I think he's got a chance, because Johnny Walker leaves himself out of position a lot. Whether it's ground and pounding, whether it's on the feet.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, he can make that
That's
mistake.
right.
But if he understands, I don't know. Paul Craig doesn't have the wrestling to take anyone down. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Like he just needs to work on the wrestling portion of it all. He just is cool with just falling.
He's not bad from a body lock position.
He's not, but
from a body lock position.
He doesn't get in though, John. That's the thing. If he starts to get in close, he just drops to his butt, and then that's it.
Yeah, he does drop.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
but the thing he's got to be very careful with Johnny Walker. Look at Johnny Walker's got a huge reach.
Yeah.
This is a guy with an 80-some inch reach, and he's got power. He's a strong guy, so you need to be very careful of, the ground and pound that he can levy on you can do damage quick. And we've seen, if there's one thing we've seen, Paul Craig can get hit
a lot
when he's on his back. There you go, and he can be hurt.
It's like he doesn't even care that he gets hit. Then I'm like,
oh, dude, he does nothing to defend it. He's still going for his attack.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I mean,
well, he's
got some wins off of it, though. A couple of times I thought he was
That's
knocked
it.
out, and he got woke back up, and then went right to the submission and won. So, hey, who the fuck am I to judge? Like, what am I?
Shame on you for waking up a guy that you had just knocked out that now submits
He's
you.
a stud, though, man. I like it. He's such
He
a nice
is.
guy, too. I met him a bunch of times.
He's fun to
Yeah, he's
watch.
fun. I like Paul Craig.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right, our last big one here before we move into some other stuff. So, Nate Diaz has teased the jump over to WWE. He posted a picture of him with Triple H, and he wrote, "We'll see what's about to happen next." But there's more.
Of course.
But we have more.
The Rising president is saying that he's trying to put together Nate Diaz versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Or at least he wants to put it together. It doesn't say he's trying to. It just says he wants to.
Well, I can tell you right now that Scott Coker is in Hawaii with Saki Gabara as we speak, and they are talking about the Bellator New Year's show. Bellator Rising combining maybe a show to do a year-end huge show at the Saitama Arena in Tokyo, man. Huge show. So that will be, apparently it sounds like there'll be some of, whether it's the Bellator champions going over there and fighting in the Rising ring, and representing Bellator in Japan. A lot of them like to do it. A lot of them, it's a dream for a lot of these fighters to fight in Japan. If you have not experienced as a fighter fighting in Japan, it's insane. It's crazy. There's so many things. So many things I could say about it. I've fought there 3 times. There's so many things I can say about it. It's fantastic.
It's an atmosphere that is unique in the fight world, because it is not what you get as far as the electricity of an Irish crowd or an American crowd or any of those other crowds that are out there that are, real boisterous and everything. But there's a respect factor of what you're doing from all the fans. They respect you as, a fighter going in there, and whatever you're going to do, they don't care if it's a ground attack. They don't care if it's a stand-up attack. They just care that you fight. That's what they care about. And when you do, and you're doing something that they can see that's good, the volume, and the whole arena goes in, and then it goes down to nothing. And it's amazing. It's something you can't get anywhere else. And for any fighter, yeah, fighting in Japan is cool. And so that fight, I could see it. I could see it happening. Here's my one thing that I don't see. How does the guy in Nate Diaz, the guy that you can look and say, as real as it gets, right? Because that was the old UFC slogan, as real as it gets. And so Nate Diaz is a guy, he's as real as it gets. How could he be going over the WWE?
John, you don't know how he's going over at WWE.
There it is. I got it. Dude, did you see that?
Dave,
I just took and just pulled
turn
it
your
right
camera
in.
on, dude. We got to see the emotion on your face as you try to dig yourself out of this one.
John, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
So we
Go ahead, Dave.
have it. It's all made up, John. The whole story is here and it's ready. It's built, right?
It's all made up. Did you just hear yourself?
No, it's real life.
It's all made up.
Nate has his last fight, right?
Yeah.
DC says some stuff about Nate getting smashed by Hamzat. He's lucky Hamzat fell out. Nate calls him a fat effer, right? DC goes to WWE and referees a match. Nate goes to WWE and hangs out with
Boy, and he
Triple H.
looked good doing that, didn't he?
We have the WrestleMania main event for Hollywood next year. DC's not from San Jose, but he's based in San Jose. Nate Diaz from Stockton. WrestleMania's in Hollywood. We have the main event for WrestleMania next year. Stockton versus AKA.
Oh, jeez.
Stockton versus Gilroy.
Oh, man.
I love it.
It's a fight of the century, man.
Fight of the century right there. Nate Diaz against the Foot Locker manager.
Exactly.
That's fucked up. Big John throwing some shade towards my boy DC.
Oh, come on. I loved it. Come on. When you see DC in that black and white and he's coming out, I go, someone said right, they go, he looks like a Foot Locker manager. I go, oh my God, he does.
Jeez.
That's
Big
great.
ass smile.
You know what? I want to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. DC, I love the fact that you were able to do something. I know that was like a dream of his.
Sure.
He loves
He's
that
into
stuff.
that.
And so he's so into it. And the fact that he could be part of that, that's one of those moments in time. Priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless. And congratulations to you for being able to be part of it.
Kids got to see him do it, man. His family got to see him do it. Like, can you imagine your kids? I don't even know if his kids are into the pro wrestling stuff. I'm sure they are because his dad's a nerd.
Oh, God,
into
because
it.
of him.
But, like, just see your dad walk out, be part of that. That's fucking fantastic. That's something that they'll never forget. Never forget.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that's awesome. I think that's amazing. And
it was.
But I really believe that this fight right here on the Ryzen, I think
you hold on. You have to admit, I did suck Dave in with that whole.
But you also have to admit, you underestimated the caliber of WrestleMania's potential main event next
what are you
next
talking
year.
about?
How can you not do DC versus Nate Diaz for the BMF title in WWE?
The BMF title. This guy, you see,
we got to come up with a different BMF. It's got to be something with the W. Something in there's got to change.
The biggest MFer, right?
No, the biggest.
They got to get high
fuck.
before the fight, and then they got to wrestle high so that they come out. Whoever wins is the biggest.
Oh my
That's
god!
not a word, but it sounds cool.
This guy,
Most big.
Dave's face lights up every time WWE gets brought up on this show. It's like ding, ding. That's why I said turn your camera on. It's almost like the lights come on. Look at how lit up his face is right now.
There's a reason these guys have millions of followers on Instagram because they are both prepared to get involved with the WWE.
No, it's because they're both fucking great fighters. That's why. All right, let's get back to the real fight. The Ryzen interested in making the Diaz and the Floyd. I think they end up making that fight. I think because Coker's had a connection with Diaz for years now, him and his brother both. I think that while they were working this whole deal out with Bellator and with Ryzen, for the New Year's show, I think that the connection with Diaz was kind of made probably the bridge was broken maybe by Scott Coker to help get them connected to do this on the New Year's Eve show.
And you have to figure that right now Nate is still in that 90-day period where he can only negotiate with the UFC as far as a new contract. But since he is it over? Yes, absolutely. No, it's not over yet. It might be by the time that fight would take place on New Year's Eve. But being that it's boxing, he can negotiate.
Interesting.
Free agent, he can negotiate a boxing.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. I would have thought that it would have been up because he was fully released from his contract after he fought his last fight, but they have 90-day matching rights normally.
That's right.
Interesting.
So he's right now, he's got, but in boxing, he can go to boxing and do anything.
Him and Floyd, I really believe, would sell a shit ton of pay-per-views. I'm thinking 3.5 million.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what it would do in Japan. Okay. But here, I think you would sell, you would get people's interest because if there's the one thing about Floyd is who he is. And I don't think Nate's going to outbox Floyd, but Nate's length. Nate has definitely been in the ring with guys of Floyd's caliber. Okay, every day that he went and sparred with Andre Ward, trust me, that was the day that he was sparring one of the best in the world. And the fact, dude, size difference?
Yeah, way different.
You could take a look at this picture. That is not the way they would stand next to each other.
That's an old picture too. That's after the McGregor fight. That's an old picture.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's after the McGregor fight.
I'm telling you, that is not the size difference of Floyd and Nate. It is much greater than what you're seeing right there. And the lengthwise, he would cause some problems as far as Nate would be able. Floyd would be able to get himself in and out, but it would be an interesting contest. I'd watch.
For sure, I'd watch.
Oh yeah,
for sure. I think they'd put it on pay-per-view. Maybe have it like in the middle of the day on a Saturday or whatever. I don't think you could run it at the midnight show like they would normally want to try to run it. That would put it at 4 or 5 in the morning. They would lose so much money if they did it that way. But then again, we've seen Japan. They've blown money for no fucking reason on fights that made no sense.
There you go.
And as long as their crowd's happy, that's all they give a shit about. So who knows? But I'm interested. It does interest me. I'll be honest. All right, next.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk 165 pounds in MMA. Scott Coker basically said so it came up and he basically said that he wouldn't do a 165 division unless everyone followed suit, and the reason he wouldn't do it is because he doesn't like the idea of fighters jumping promotions and here you have to go to 155, but here you can go to 165, but then here you got to go to 170 because of ONE FC, that type of thing. So so Scott Coker has kind of laid out his position on 165 and that he'll follow suit, but it doesn't sound like he is interested in doing it by himself.
I'm you know what, John? I've always been a fan of the 165, but then I also had a good sit down talk. I think you were there with me with Rich Chow. Yeah. I sat down with Rich Chow and I had a breakdown with him. Rich was the matchmaker for Bellator. He was the matchmaker for Strikeforce, matchmaker for Elite XC, matchmaker for Rumble on the Rock. Rich Chow's been around. He's respected amongst everybody. He is one of the best guys in the world. Fantastic matchmaker as well as just a fantastic person. That being said, when he broke it down to me, I really started to understand the significance of watering down your talent. They would rather have one weight class in 155 being stacked and oversaturated, which Bellator doesn't have that problem. They've got 10 good lightweights now. They didn't have that before.
They didn't before.
No. And and the UFC has been blessed to have. They've been stacked with that division for a long time, since the return of the lightweight division, when they got rid of it and they said, hey, we don't have enough guys here. It's not working. Whatever it was, they got rid of that weight class during 2003, 2004. I just so happened to be the very last lightweight fight there ever was up until they brought it back against Eves. We were the last lightweight fight. That happening, I talked to Rich, and Rich said, hey, you're going to have guys at 170 now that are struggling to make 170. They're going to make 175 just fine. But now those guys that weren't struggling to make 170, they're going to go to 65. So now you're going to water down 70 or 75 now if you're going to change it. And at 65, you're going to split the division at 155, now 65. And now you're going to have guys, you're going to have half the talent in each weight class that's there, and just to offer one more title. Now, for me, I think it makes sense not for Bellator, but for UFC to do it. And bump those 70 pounders to 175, because then you'll get some of those trickle down guys to from 85 to make the weight at 75 and make some fun. But then I get into the same thing that Rich was saying. I get scared that 85 is already not a stacked division. It's kind of it's the same 5 guys, 6 guys. It's very, Paulo Costa's been there for a long time. You've got Whitaker's been there for a long time. Izzy's been the champ for a long time. It's the same 3-4 guys. And then there's the rest of them that are interchangeable, but it's not a stacked division. And some of those guys can make 75. If you take some of those talented fighters at 185 in the UFC, they can make 75, John. And then you're watering down all 3 weight classes.
Couple.
Yeah, a couple. I just think I'm going to finally have to say, my boy Rich Chow is right. You're going to water down probably one of the best divisions in the whole sport at 155. Whether you do it in the UFC or you do it in Bellator, you're going to water it down so much, and it's going to kind of fuck up the other divisions.
Let me point it out to you this way then. Dave, pull up the UFC's rankings, because the UFC absolutely could do a 165 easily, and it would not water down anything. Bullshit if anyone's saying it's watering it down, because if you look at 55s, you look at 70s, and you look at 85s, anything that's going in between there, because the 55 is going to stay exactly where it's at. Now, you could have several of those people move up into that 65. Yeah. Okay, but it's not going to be Michael Chandler, really. He's a guy that wants to cut down and be at that lower weight. You could see a guy like Islam Makhachev, who is big and he cuts a lot. He could definitely go up to that 65, and it would be a good thing for him.
Did you see that picture of him and Bilal Muhammad next to each other? Of Islam and Bilal Muhammad? Islam, Bilal Muhammad. It was like, I was like, what?
And but you're not going to lose a lot. There's maybe 2 guys in that weight class of 55. I would look and say, you should go up to 65. It's going to help your career. And I think Islam is honestly one of those, and he's that guy, right? Knocking on the door of being a champ. But, take a look at the 70s. Every one of those could be 75, no problem. A couple could go to 65. Michael Chiesa could go to 65. Yeah. I really believe that he could go to 65. I think Sean Brady could make it to 65.
Absolutely.
Bilal Muhammad could make it to 65. And maybe Gilbert, because Gilbert, he's gotten pretty thick lately, and so he may have a little bit more of a problem. But Colby Covington and Gilbert could make it to 65. That really is taking some of that out of there, but it's not taking so much that it's killing your division. You still have Leon Edwards at the top. You got Kamaru Usman. I don't think Kamaru can lose, going down to 65. I think he would go to 75, and it would only help him as a fighter. And then if you take a look at the 85s, who's going to really drop? Darren Till's going to try to drop. Darren Till's going to try to go to that 75.
Curtis.
That 5 pounds make a big difference. Chris Curtis would. Kelvin Gastelum will definitely be the guy.
I think Darren Till would go back down to 60. 75.
I already said that. Darren Till. I said that. That was the first one I said. He's going to do it. But Derek Brunson is not. Alex Pereira definitely cannot. I don't think Marvin Vettori can get down there. I don't think Jared Cannonier can get down there. Sean Strickland could possibly be that guy that could get down into that. Okay, so really we're talking 4 guys.
What about Whitaker?
You're not losing anything.
What about Whitaker? I know he's gotten bigger as he's filled out the weight, but he's talking about going to 205.
He's going to 205
instead of going to 75. So I could see him potentially making that cut to 75. But he is getting older, and he's already put the weight on. He's matured in terms of physically. He's gotten a lot bigger, thicker.
Physically, he's thick.
Yeah, so that'd be harder, I think, for him to make that adjustment to get back down to 75. But he may try.
But tell me if the UFC did that, it's gonna water things down. Bullshit. They're gonna have another weight class with great fights, a championship to put on the line at times. They have the personnel. Yeah. They have the lineup. They could do it, no problem.
I agree, because what we're not even talking about is that you're going to get some of those 45-pounders to maybe trickle up as well to 55, because now that some of those 55. Other guys that the Islam Makhachev that are big, there's certain guys that are pretty big for the weight. They're going to finally go by the side. They're going to go away.
Tell me 65 wouldn't be the perfect weight class for Islam.
I think it'd be fantastic. Perfect. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Yep. I think had Habib been around for that, he would have done 55. He would have won the title and probably done 65.
Yeah.
He would have tried to do both. Yep. I guess we'll see. What happens. But I understand why Scott doesn't want to do it. I would like to see us lead the way in it, but we just don't have a deep enough roster to do it. That's the problem.
Sometimes you can't do it, and that's that's the difference between looking at having a roster of 300 and a roster of 600. Yep. And you got to double it, you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly, you said the point exactly. Is we only have a roster of about 300 fighters, and UFC's got a roster of 600, almost closer to 700. So it's easier to make those little adjustments if you want to add one weight class. So,
that's right.
All right, next.
All right, we're going to wrap up on this one. Tito Ortiz says he is having a rematch against Chael in February. What do you guys think about this?
I don't know.
It's funny because I know it's one fight that Chael would love to get back. He definitely does not like Tito. Yeah. Most guys cannot get under Chael's skin, and he'll never show it, but he just doesn't like Tito.
Okay.
Tito got it over on it was Bellator 170.
Yeah.
And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
John, where are they going to do this fight?
Oh, I have no idea.
And if they do it, who's going to pay for
it? See, that's, don't ask me. Maybe the UFC will have them back. Who knows? I don't think Bellator, I don't think Scott's interested in it.
No, not for the money that I know that Tito's been requesting for most of the places he's been going. He's been requesting a ridiculous amount of money. And I like Tito, whatever. I like Tito. And I love Chael. Chael's,
of course,
he's great.
He's
a great guy, man. I don't know where they're gonna go to do this show. I don't know. Huh. I'm interested to see where it'll end up. I don't think it'll end up at Bellator because I don't think we want to pay for that fight. I doubt the UFC would put it on. I really doubt it. So you're gonna look at maybe like a Triller. Didn't Triller get bought by somebody?
But Triller doesn't do MMA.
I don't know then, John.
That's the Dorito chip, and Triller's just had another problem.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
I don't see that one happening.
I don't know where you would go, man. I don't know. Maybe bare knuckle boxing would do like some one off of just MMA.
That's not an MMA either.
I know, but maybe you just never know, man. I don't know. All right. Well, hey, look, if it happens, I know that Chael said to us multiple times that that's what he's looking forward to is maybe another shot at Tito. And, Tito is still willing to fight. Is what it is. All right. Go to WeighingInPodcast.com. Pick up some of our merch. We got sweatshirts. Sweatshirts. We got sweatshirts, hoodies, long sleeves, short sleeves. Winter's coming, so make sure you get them hoodies on, man. We got the long sleeve shirts as well with all the logos, all different brands, all different everything. So check it out. So hope you guys like it. We got the coffee mugs too for the winter. WeighingInPodcast.com. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on the bottom, that little thumbs up and that little bell. We're going to be dropping a special video, which we're going to get off right now from you guys, and we're going to film it right now, a separate little special video. And you guys are going to have to make sure you guys hit that bell in our Clips channel. That Clips channel link is down below. Hit that little link. That'll take you to our Clips channel. Hit the subscribe button there. And we'll be dropping some special content for you guys. Because guess what? It's fucking Big John's birthday. And that's what we're here to do for you guys. Happy 60th, my man.
We're here to give.
Happy 60th. And you don't look a day over 61.
I love that, baby. I think that's the youngest you've ever called me.
Yes, it is. It'll probably be the youngest I ever call you forever. Yes.
Forever.
Buddy, take us away, man.
Hey, for everyone out there, I hope you have as good a time as I just had doing this show. And thank you to all my friends who said happy birthday to me. Thank you to my man, Josh Thompson, and Podcast Dave. You guys are the best. And for everyone out there, I hope your day is as good as mine. We will see you.
Okay, so we're telling stories about Big John McCarthy. Happy to do it. Right away, I knew which story I was going to tell. I have a couple of stories about him, but I think probably my favorite one to tell, every now and then I've got to bust John's chops about this when the time was right. But, okay, I'll lay it down the scene for you. Fight. We're refereeing UFC. John has the fight with Quentin Jackson and Chuck Liddell. Huge fight. If you guys remember how fanatical Chuck Liddell fans were, how fanatical people were about Quentin Jackson, John gets the match. Boom, boom, boom. Quentin catches him, beats him down, grounding and pounding, hurt him, he hurt him, dropped him, ground and pound. John stops the fight. Good stoppage. Clearly was a great stoppage. But at the time, Chuck Liddell fans were rabid. And so in the corner, out of a certain area in the arena, I mean, it's a big arena, it's T-Mobile, you can hear boos starting from a certain area. I mean, it wasn't a bad stop. It was a great stop. But anytime, these are Chuck Liddell fans, the boos are starting. And John, when they started to boo, he looked up like, with this face, like, what? And it was hilarious because they instantly shut up. And it's such a funny thing because these were grown men in an arena. I mean, they're so far away from him. You could hear that the boos were coming from the top. There's no way that he could travel through all that space, through all those people, and get to them. And, I mean, as much as I would like to think he could, and probably as much as they felt he could, it was a bunch of them. He couldn't beat them all up. But they all shut up like he could, as if they felt he could. The only thing I used to always compare it to, like, Lord of the Rings magic. Like, and they felt the pressure of his gaze and grew silent. And, I don't know, I always thought I always got a kick out of it. The funny thing about it is I saw Chuck that night. And I was like, oh man, rough night. He's all, yeah, but the stop was good. I go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm glad you think so, because Chuck never thought a stop was good. And I was like, man, but I don't think I could have made that stop. He's like, oh, you? Oh, no, not you. No, you couldn't have made that stop. But, hey, happy 60th birthday, Big John. Keep being you, and I hope to see you again soon, brother.
To my all-time favorite ref, the Big 6-0. Happy 60th birthday, Big John. I hope it's a great one, and many more to come.
Big John, happy birthday, my man. You're an amazing human being. Much love from the Bader family. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon, buddy.
Big job, McCarthy. Damn, we're getting old. Turning 60, huh? All right, man. Well, let me see you, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. Have a great one, brother.
I noticed most of the stories were about John making fun of us more than, John, a funny story about John. So it was like John instigating or John, doing whatever kind of shenanigans as he would do. But there was one story that I thought of, about John. And it was our first event together, working together. It was at WEC in Sacramento. And John had officially retired as a referee, but was coming back, and for whatever reason, in this situation, he was a judge at this WEC. So here we are, John, who, for all intents and purposes, is the best referee, certainly most experienced MMA referee, judging, and me, refereeing as a relatively new referee. But I was like having this really bad back spasm where I couldn't move very well at all. Could hardly breathe, and quite problematic for refereeing. And I'm doing everything I can, stretching, taking ibuprofen, doing whatever. The event is about to start, and we're in the back, and I don't know if John was just saying hi or knew or was just checking on me or was just walking by. But here I am, this new person who really has no personal relationship with John at all. And here John is, as a judge getting ready to go judge the event. And he's like, how's it going? And I'm like, not well at all. I cannot move. I can't, I don't know how I'm going to referee. He's like, okay. Well, get down. And he started stretching me. He's stretching me out. So here we have this person that is, for whatever reason, judging when he should have been refereeing, helping out this person who he's never personally really met before, has no personal relationship with, but he's just helping me. And it's a big event for me. It's a big deal. Most people I've ever refereed in front of, I'm sure, at the time. And he, he's the one who got me through that by doing that for me. It seems like a little thing, but it wasn't a little thing. It was a big thing. And when I was putting together my stories about John, I just kept seeing this overarching theme about, regardless of if it was right for John or not, he just did the right thing. And I was just really proud to be able to call him my friend.
Hi, happy birthday.
Big John, happy birthday, buddy. You 60, sexy beast, you. I'm gonna give you a bite on the butt next time I see you.
We just wanted to wish you the very best birthday, and we love you and hope you have a very special day.